Greetings, IB artists. This is Miss A. I'm here introducing a series of videos. So for this series of videos, I'm interviewing a variety of people. Most of these people were my ex-students. Some of them are practicing artists that I've met along the way. And really, these videos are here to inspire you. They are here to show you where you can take your art education. Not all of you will become artists, but I feel that, art is really, really important no matter what you end up doing later on in life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really, really enjoy these. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. That inspires us to do more videos that are hopefully of interest to you. This is Miss A. All the best.
Hi, my name is Chan, and I'm an artist and a creative director based in Dubai. Like many of you, I did the IB Visual Arts program. The time difference is obviously pretty big. Most of you are entering. I did it about 6 years ago, and it really had a big impact on my art practice and my personal journey about considering art as something I'd like to do professionally. Before I got into IB, I'd gone through a lot of different courses from primary school to middle school, and none of them really explored art. Art was seen as something secondary, and when I entered high school, that's when I was introduced to visual arts as a structured educational program, and that made a very big difference. So, a little bit about myself. I create abstract artwork. A lot of my work is based on textile traditions around the world, and I find inspiration in South Asian and Southeast Asian art history, particularly textiles from that part of the world. So Javanese batik, also from South America, Shipibo patterns, and then Tibetan sand mandalas. So all these three have played a big role in the different series I've developed, and you can actually check out my work on chanseth.com. The way I'm currently working in my professional practice, I combine my art with workshops which allow other people to understand what I do and why I do it. I think it's very important to share my voice and my vision with the rest of the world, and so I host mandala workshops to help people evolve, not just creatively but spiritually. And this process really began, I'd say, not just during college, but before college, when I was trying to understand not just more about my artistic voice, but also more about myself. So yeah, check out my website and you'll get a little bit more about what I do on there. I'm also the founder of Sandscapes, which is an annual program we have every year here in Dubai. Over there, we try to bring as many emerging artists together, and that's part of my vision of really having people who are creatively minded coming together and doing something that inspires the generations of tomorrow. So how did I really get to where I am today? So, like I said, I was in the IB Visual Arts program, and I always knew I wanted to be an artist at a very young age. So 3 or 4 is really when I started painting and sketching, and that came because I grew up in a lineage of artists. My father is an artist, my grandfather was an artist, and so what happened is pretty much every day I take my sketchbook out and paint or sketch a side of the metro or a walk in the park. So it was really my way to document the world and make sense of it. And by the time I was 15, I'd really learned to develop my technical skills as an artist. Unfortunately, I hadn't really developed my voice, which means I hadn't developed what really inspired me, and I really wanted to be able to do that because I think that's important in any professional field. And I really hadn't found the vocabulary to talk about my art. So at about the age of 14, I decided to enroll in the IB Visual Arts program. I first did GCSE at the school I was in, and then eventually shifted to IB. And I had a fantastic teacher. I was very fortunate to have one. and she really allowed me to experiment. She gave me the space to do so, and we delved into a lot of different media, different art movements, and that's really when I had the opportunity to develop my vocabulary, to be able to explain my work, to be able to explain the context and discuss my work with critics, gallery owners, and so on and so forth. And it also gave me the confidence to be able to present myself in a large setting, in an audience of 200, 300 people. Um, so that's really why I think having a formal art education is so important, because it allows you to experiment and really explore, really try to push your boundaries. It also creates the shift from treating art as a hobby to something that you might want to do professionally. And I really think IB visual arts is something that people should only do if they see art being a significant part of their life further down the road. And it doesn't have to be strictly being a fine artist in a gallery. You could be a cinematographer, you could be a graphic designer. There's a whole variety and scope of professions that you could fall into by having this IB Visual Arts program under your belt. It's also going to give you a very solid peer group of people who you interact with, who you talk and breathe art with. They're going to be your late night buddies who are up with you, helping you through your projects, helping you through deadlines. And pretty much like any other rigorous course, it really creates that community and bond that makes you appreciate what art can really do for you personally. And I'm in touch with a lot of the people who I did IB Visual Arts with. There's a lot of passion and energy that floats around in the room when you walk into a classroom like this, when you walk into an art studio, and that just allows you to really create some groundbreaking work and push your boundaries and simply step outside your comfort zone. The advice I'd give to you who might be just entering IB Visual Arts or might be 1 or 2 years in is that it really comes down to the work. Just like any pursuit in life, you really get what you give and what you put into it. So the IB Visual Art program, I think, is really great. But that being said, you really have to dedicate a certain number of hours every day to achieve the kind of results that you might want to see. So for me, for instance, I really tried to sketch at least 2 or 3 sketches every day, really just get my thoughts down on paper. And that allowed me to really think visually in terms of the things I might want to create in the future. And it really created this ongoing process of treating art not just as something that is intermittent, but is happening on a regular basis. Most of the people that I graduated with in my class had a similar approach, and they've gone on to treat art as a vital component of their own lives, and it's simply because they put the hard work in. A lot of them are practicing artists, some of them are also graphic designers based here in Dubai or around the world. So really it comes down to putting the work in, and then once you've taken the action, receiving the results of that action. So having said that, when I did the IB Visual Arts program, I really gave it my all. And once I graduated, I was enrolled into into Cornell's art program, into the bachelor program. Cornell is based in New York, so it was a big shift for me to move to the United States. And there was definitely a bit of a culture shock because, in Dubai, I would say that the youth here is insulated to a certain degree. There's a lot of safety, a lot of comfort, and moving to the US, it was a whole new environment to deal with. So that impacted my work for a short period of time. But I realized that, 1 or 2 months in, just because I'd put in the hard work and really created that bond with my fellow peers, I was able to replicate that process in college as well. And it's just interesting to note that IB does a better job than most high school programs do at preparing you for college. With things like the extended essay, you really learn to write and talk about your work in a very professional way. So I would say that the transition from high school to college was pretty seamless. And, all those years of hard work definitely paid off. There were times when, I felt like this might not be worth it. Am I doing the right thing? But these questions, crop up whenever you're really being pushed to your limits. And you really shouldn't take that as a sign to stop. And I'm really grateful for having pushed through because, 6 years later, after having graduated from high school, I'm more happy than ever being a professional artist. And I work with big organizations like Dubai Culture and some of the nonprofits out here. And I've had shows in New York, Dubai, Berlin. So it's really been an amazing experience. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Ms. A was actually my art teacher for the IB program here, and she's fantastic. I think she's incredibly well equipped to talk through to anyone about art and help them on their artistic and creative journey. And yeah, I hope this helped you guys, and I really hope that you pursue your creative goals and take them all the way. Take the action to see the results 2, 3, 4 years down the line. And yeah, have a wonderful day.